What's up and welcome back to episode 68 of Pro Pels Talk. It is the home of your 11th place, eliminated once again from playoff contention, New Orleans Pelicans. My name's Justin Napoli alongside Stephen Offner, Ross Tivino. Going to be our last episode of the year. By the way, cheers to you fellas. 2 years. We've completed 2 years. We've completed 2 years of talking about shit basketball. Steven, nice SEC cup. Steve, how you doing today?
Sugar Bowl cup from 2010.
That's really that's a good one.
Keeper. Yeah, it's worth a lot of money. I don't know if you knew that.
How's it going?
Oh, good, bud. How's it going over there? We're gonna watch ourselves lose by 30 tonight against the Lakers here.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fun. Let's go out with a bang, huh? Move up a little bit. Ross, how we doing, bud?
Good. I've been waiting for this season to end for a month. So this is a
torture. It's over.
Big day for us. Big night. I'm going to celebrate. I've got a cocktail poured.
What cocktail is that, by the way?
That is a River Basin whiskey. Mostly neat. I did sprinkle a little water
splash.
In there.
Water.
Mostly neat.
Yeah, you can't get it that way at the bar. You walk up and you say mostly neat. They're probably going to say some kind of idiot or something. But I like to consider this mostly neat.
I like that. I like that. Anyways, River Basin, check them out. Locally owned.
Yep.
River Basin Distillery. And with that, it's good to see you two, because last episode we did a fans edition with Matt Habig and Millard Morrison, and that was fun. That was quite interesting. But anyways,
real riot.
Yeah, it was a riot there. So we're gonna recap the season. I'm gonna start off with myself. I'm pitched to Steven and Ross. And at the beginning of the year, I predicted this team could be an 8th seed. I thought you get Zion Williamson, you get Brandon Ingram, another year of Lonzo Ball. We knew going in the bench would be a problem, but I didn't see this team finishing 11th. I, in my opinion, I think this team underachieved. Now there were some bright spots, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Jackson Hayes. We're going to talk about Najee Marshall. We're going to talk about, DD, who I think has been nice. And then of course, Nickeil Alexander-Walker and getting Kyra Lewis. But Steven, I guess your initial reaction of what you thought about this year. Go ahead.
Still a lot of question marks. Where else do we go? I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't think anything was really solved. Do we sign Lonzo Ball? What do we do with him? What has been? What I'm going to throw it back to you real quick here. What do you think has been a bright spot of this?
It's a decent question. There are very minimal bright spots for me, right? I think Jackson Hayes is a bright spot. I think Nickeil Alexander-Walker, but to your point, Steven, Lonzo Ball, what are you going to do with him? Josh Hart, what are you going to do with him? What free agency trades, Steven Adams, Eric Bledsoe, contract situation, cap situation. Ross, first off, tell me what you think of this year. And then to answer Steven's question, what is next?
Yeah, I think it went about as I expected. I don't remember actually what our predictions were.
Yeah, y'all both said out of the playoffs.
That's about what I expected. I just didn't think, I didn't think the roster was very good. Right. And I mean, I just kind of continue to go back to that. I think Offner makes a really good point. We sort of in the year, I think in a lot of ways where we started it. I mean, I have my opinion on what we're going to do with Lonzo based on the way he played this year. And I'm sure you guys have your opinions and everybody else seems to have their opinion. But we don't seem to be, at least in my opinion, in any better of a spot than we were when we started the year from a team perspective. We're going to go into next year, depending on what happens this offseason, we could go into next year with just a lot of marks, unfortunately.
We're going that is a known, Ross. We're going into this offseason with a ton of question marks. And I think, in my opinion, this is David Griffin's most important year offseason as the GM of the New Orleans Pelicans, because that Zion Williamson window is starting to close a little bit. Now, I know he's going to get the second contract and all this different. You got to start building now. Superstars, Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram, they don't like losing. Right now, we're a bunch of losers. I hate saying it. Our franchise is a bunch of losers. Now, we're going to get negative a little bit later on, but often we go to you, then Ross. What was your biggest surprise this year?
Man, biggest surprise was actually, the moves that we made kind of around the trade deadline with the JJ Redick trade, you get James Johnson.
James Johnson, yeah.
He comes in and he's a big surprise. Najee Harris, he comes in, you end up giving him a contract.
Najee Marshall. Najee
Harris is the running back.
Solid running back.
Pretty good. He got a good contract, I'm sure. First round.
You're in mid-season form right now. I like this.
I'm so bad with names, man.
Just not a name guy. You're just
not a name guy.
Najee Marshall's been a good surprise, Ross. What do you got? Biggest surprise?
Is it like I've got to be a positive, or can it be?
Ooh,
yeah, it's got to be a positive. It's got to be.
I think unquestionably for me the biggest positive is, and it's sort of cliche, but is Zion. I don't think, I didn't think even he would be this good. I mean, historically great offensive player. Coming off last year, he was sort of out of shape, and there was, I kind of I didn't know exactly what to expect. I thought obviously that he would be productive, and that we would see more of some of the really good flashes we saw. He was fucking awesome.
He's awesome
all year. I mean, he was just historically great offensive season. Some of the stuff he did,
once he was put up 28, 30 a night, I think everyone stopped questioning if he was in shape or if he was fat he was just like, no, I'm just going to easily put up 30. And this is with zero post moves.
Yeah.
Zero post moves and in and out move.
Yeah. Like I said, so for me, I think it sounds a little bit like a chicken shit call from my end,
I
but
think it's fair.
I just think I didn't expect him to make the leap from, whatever he was as a rookie to just a bona fide out of this world superstar.
Yeah. I mean, he's
just that quick.
He is a
he's played
superstar.
80 games in the NBA, 82 games in the NBA. So yeah, I mean, I just didn't see it. I didn't see the just jump to absolute superstar happening, fast.
Yeah. And that is a positive going into next year.
Absolutely.
Zion Williamson is automatically positive. My biggest surprise, I think y'all all can agree, is Jackson Hayes. I'll never forget 2 months in, we were at the game booing him.
Didn't think he belonged in the NBA. Didn't think he belonged in the top league.
Major props to me for calling myself wrong. I'm glad I was wrong. I called Jackson Hayes a bust. He's clearly not a bust. He's only been playing basketball for 5 years, but night and day. Completely night and day. Because I remember you couldn't even play him defensively. Now he's kind of gotten a lot of confidence of protecting the rim. He's kind of a shot blocker now. He can switch on to guards. He's long. He's quick. And I think the best thing he's doing is rim running. I think he is such an exceptional rim runner that, when Lonzo or Najee or whoever the guard is, Bledsoe can throw it up to him. It's rim running. He's doing a really, really nice job of that. And then also, I know we all seen him knock down some threes and everyone's heart is stopping right now, right? He's our stretch five. Different. We need to calm down. I saw Schmidt do it. Had this graph of Hayes is 4 of 10 on the year or something like that. It will get there. If it gets there, Hayes becomes a problem. But now to the biggest disappointment of the year, Stephen Offner.
Stan Van Gundy. That's it.
That's it.
What else? The rotations have been crap. What else?
End of game, bad.
Everything.
Adjustments, bad. I think he's really.
I thought that he was going to be the guy. Like I said, coming in, he was going to be this. He was going to be a curmudgeon kind of guy to just keep these younger kids in check. But I don't think this is working out, man.
I think we all hoped. So I was negative from it, I think, from the jump. But we all hoped, right? In the back of our mind, that he was going to Tom Thibodeau us, what Tibbs just did with the Knicks. That was our hope, right? Come in and you're going to be one of the top 2 or 3 ranked defenses in the league, and you just do enough offensively to sort of hang in there and compete and do everything else. That was
right.
I was never excited about this hire, but that, I think, to your point, Steve, was in the back of my mind. Shit, maybe at least we can be that. And we just, we were worse defensively this year than we were last year, I think.
So it's, I give them the benefit here of having a full off season with these guys, but even at a certain point, somewhere in the course of this 72 game season, should have seen some type of advancement, and nothing. Everything was kind of stale and
right. And
the same thing over and over again, and no real changes or adjustments to correct something.
Right. And I want to talk about the point you just made is that I've been, I think, very critical of Stan Van Gundy. Obviously, y'all follow me on Twitter and things like that. But to be fair, he didn't have a rookie
To be
camp.
fair.
He didn't have a summer league. He didn't have a training camp. He didn't really get to prep for the draft as he was hired 2 weeks before it.
Yeah.
He didn't get to really, I guess, implement his identity into this team. Who knows how many? I know, like, we're making excuses and stuff,
Just
but
a huge excuse.
I know. But wait, hold up. You don't get to implement. You don't get to do team workouts. You got to deal with COVID. You can only have 3 people at a time. Like, I understand why he struggled, but at the same time, it doesn't negate the fact that his in-game adjustments were really bad. Who can forget the Pacers debacle where he doesn't take a timeout to advance the ball? Stuff like that, it really worries me. Ross, I know you're biting your tongue, so go ahead.
No, it's fine. I don't like. I just don't agree with some of those. I guess you'd call them excuses.
Elaborate.
If you want, because a lot of other coaches didn't have it either. Like
That's
one
true.
got summer.
That is very true.
No one got not mini camp, like, because you couldn't have it. So it was just, you just rolled straight into preseason. That's fine. And it is what it is. Like, none of us think Stan Van Gundy's a very good coach. We can all, like, try to find the optimism and say, like, well, we're going to get a full off season, everything. But, like, there's not a ton of indication that he's going to be one of those guys in the room. So, I mean, he's obviously going to be in the room, but, like, I don't know how much weight Stan Van Gundy's going to have in terms of drafting and everything else. I mean, he's a head coach, so clearly has some input, but whatever. I mean, I don't buy the whole thing of like, well, he didn't have that much time. Like, we had 72 games and we sucked.
I wish you would.
I mean, it just is what it is, right? We were a bad defensive team. He was supposed to help us. That's the one spot. Granted, we're a little bit of a young team, but you bring in Eric Bledsoe, you bring in Steven Adams. Like, how much grease do those dudes need to learn a defense? And they're supposed to be really good defensive players. I don't buy it. I don't think he's a very good coach. I think he very much lived up to his, at least in my opinion, his reputation of being just sort of a grumpy, unhappy curmudgeon. And so, to my disappointment, it's just the entire organization. I don't think we took any steps forward this year. We basically finished with around about the same record as we did last year. Sure, Zion jumped off the page, but that's, like, he's a superstar and that's what they do. I think from what we've heard and some of the little, things we've picked up is that it's not a great place to be right now. Like, I don't think anybody's, like, singing Kumbaya in our locker room or in the front office. I don't know. I think for me, the entire organization did not move forward this year much. I'm just sort of, I'm a little bit disappointed. And I think everybody shares some of that blame, and starting at the very top. I don't think David Griffin did a very good job. I think that the Adams thing looks like literally looks worse by the game. The Bledsoe thing, whatever.
We have segments for that.
You wanted to trade Drew Holiday. Like, I get all of that. It just is those moves, though. Now you can start to judge them. And with 1 year under our belt, I think for the most part, all of them look really bad.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I'm gonna get to my most disappointing. I can't believe I'm gonna say him because he's, like, my favorite guy. It's Brandon Ingram. And I think offensively, he's an elite scorer. He's unbelievable. But here's why I'm very disappointed in Brandon Ingram, because I remember in the offseason, his media exit room, before he got his max contract, he said he was going to work his ass off defensively. He is one of the worst defenders in the league. I mean, you're averaging 25, 26 tonight. All you got to be is an average defender, and you're a plus player. I think if this team is going to go anywhere, and when I say anywhere, I mean like the fucking 7th seed, Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram have to play defense. You got to play defense. Your best players have to be able to play defense. Zion got better. I think we all saw that throughout the year. Beginning, it was atrocious.
He could only go up.
What's that?
He could only go up.
I mean, yeah, he could only go up. Brandon Ingram is I don't expect Zion Williamson to be the leader of this team. I expect Brandon Ingram to be the leader of this basketball team.
Yeah, what was frustrating, I almost went this direction. What was frustrating, I think, for me is you and I went to the first couple of games, and you could really see in those first 2 or 3 games that he was, like, engaged and trying and everything. And throughout the year, you just saw his defensive focus just, like, fall to a negative. And
y'all played sports. Why?
Yeah.
Why y'all played sports? Why does that happen? Does he lose focus? Does he lose lack of interest? Does he not like where he is?
I think it could be a combo of all of that. Yeah, I think probably coaching, like not being on the same page with the head coach, I think matters a lot in that situation. But I don't know what you're going to put it on, but I do agree with you on both accounts. Ingram's defensive performance this year was terribly disappointing. And two, if we're ever going to do anything, and that starts with like just making the playoffs, but like if we're ever going to do anything with this core, Ingram and Zion got to be better. Like, have to play better defense.
And
like,
when you say better defensively,
yeah, they have to be better. Me and you spent an hour talking about this. You go look at the really good, the meaningful sort of combos, like Giannis and Middleton,
Simmons
Giannis
and
Drew
Jokic
Holiday,
and Murray,
LeBron and AD. Like, if you go look at those guys, Jokic is a good example this year. Played every game, and everything you read about that guy is that realized got to get better defensively. Is he great? Nah, he's still average. Not great defensively.
He's average,
but he's out there like doing his best and hustling and being in the right spot and defending stuff at the rim and doing everything else. If we're going to do anything, those two guys have to they have to be better defensively. Have to be
100%. Steven?
What if Stan Van Gundy, if he just delegated a little bit more to these assistant coaches that seem to just kind of stand around and do nothing?
It does seem like the Stan show.
Like, do like the old school, like camp drills, break off, go do a defensive round.
Well, but that's another thing though. Like, I don't think we're not in practice and everything, but I don't think Stan got a fair shake at it this year. We'll see if it changes. Listen,
let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Can I hypothetical?
Yeah,
go just ahead. Shit on this guy all year, and now you're saying he didn't get a fair shake.
I fucking hate him, but I'm trying to be positive. Ross.
Do you think what would you give? What odds would you give to Stan getting through the All-Star break next season?
20%.
You think there's a 20% chance he gets there, or a 20% chance he doesn't?
20% chance that he gets there. I think he's fired before the All-Star break. Like, I would put my house on it that he gets fired before the All-Star break next year.
That's a dumb thing to say.
I think I don't. 20% is
Steven. I'm telling you,
20's
he's
a little.
bad.
Yeah, 20's a little lower than where I'd have gone. But I
what
think
do you got? I don't think he makes. There's no way.
I give him a 50-50 shot to get to the All-Star break. 50-50. I think it's that bad. I really think it's that bad in there.
Why do you think it's that bad? Why?
Because you just one, some of the rumblings that we're hearing, and two, if you just watch, watch his interaction with assistant coaches, watch his interaction with the star players, watch how people just sort of don't talk to him.
Are you calling him kind of like a loser?
I'm calling him a guy I think that just fucking pisses people off and just doesn't talk to anyone and is not very friendly. I think it's not that you have to be friends with people in the NBA. I don't know. I watch a shitload of NBA. I find our interaction. Our starting point guard said he wasn't paying attention in the 60th game of the year in a huddle in a game we had to win. It was
a must-win situation.
Not to go back to that. It just sort of pops into my head, but I don't think he has the respect of the players very much, both from a basketball perspective and personally. That is just my external. I'm not in the locker room. I'm not on the court. I'm not friends with any of the guys that are there or playing basketball for the Pelicans. My opinion in watching, what do we play? Watching 69 of the 72 games and including a good chunk of those in person. That is my opinion. I give him a 50-50 shot. I don't think Stan Van Gundy seems to be beloved by the team or the other folks that are down there.
Steven, does he make it to the All-Star break next year?
I'm not going to say anything. I feel
just
bad.
Give a number.
Just give me a number.
75%. I'll give him 75. We'll go brackets here. You got 25, 50, 75. I'm just taking the high road on this one.
Okay, I think he's he's a bottom three coach in this league.
I mean, because here's the thing. Look, let's throw this out there. Maybe these guys just suck at playing defense, and Stan Van Gundy can only do so much.
Okay, right? Okay. I'm glad you brought up that point. Okay, at some point, and this is why I called out Brandon Ingram. At some point, it is the player's fault.
Absolutely.
Right.
But at the same time, when you got an overrated Eric Bledsoe, a cement foot Steven Adams, cement foot Zion Williamson, and a disinterested Brandon Ingram, you're not going to be good defensively.
Bledsoe's just sad. He's just sad sucks right now.
Well, Steven Adams, but
legitimately sad.
Steven Adams and Zion Williamson are just not they're not good defenders, and that's okay. I don't need Zion. Zion Williamson does his job. Like Steven Adams, I feel bad when he gets in a pick and roll situation and a guard gets on him, he's cooked. It doesn't matter. Like just go look at Dame Lillard or Donovan Mitchell. All they'll do is either pull up, hesitate, or just drive by him. So I do think the personnel is not really helping out Stan Van Gundy at all.
That doesn't get talked about enough. I think a lot of people continue to try to find these silver linings that are not there.
Oh,
like
Jesus.
I don't think this roster is very good. We have a superstar. We have like a fringe-ish all-star, probably what could become a perennial all-star, and then just like shit. Like I don't think we have a good, and that does not get talked about enough. Everyone tries to like put everything in a box. Like, well, Griffin was doing this, and we tried to bring in these type of play. Like at the end of the day, and we all said it all throughout the roster just isn't that good, and everybody would get real. We talked about it on Friday. Because people were saying it to us. We were out and about at a golf tournament. People were talking Pelicans with us. And people would say, it's like, man, like once every 2 or 3 weeks we play a game. It's like, damn, we're pretty good. Like this team looks good. But then what would happen? Like the truth reveals itself over 72 games. The roster just isn't that good. Like it's not a playoff roster. It sure as shit isn't a championship contending roster. And that proves itself out again. You're going to finish 11th or 12th. It is what it is.
And that's where the focus shifts from Stan Van Gundy to David Griffin.
100%.
And that's where it goes.
Lead into the offseason talk.
Can I tell y'all something real quick?
Is it good?
I spent about an hour and a half today debating if Wenyen Gabriel should be our 12th man on the roster. People are like, Wenyen Gabriel, I told you he could play. I'm like, guys, do you think Wenyen Gabriel's going to take us to the 5 seed?
It's just,
we're wasting time with these guys. Like, everyone's infatuated with Didi Loiza. And like, okay, listen, I like Didi. Luzada, whatever. Let's go to 3, 2, 1. Everyone's infatuated with Didi Luzada. And it's just like, he's a good player. He's going to be like Andre Roberson. You remember him for the Thunder? A great defensive player.
You know what the best thing?
Liability on offense.
You know what the best thing I think he does? You know what the best thing I think he does? I think the best thing Didi did was come in and these, whatever he played 2-3 games and show us that clearly Josh Hart does not we do not need to commit $8-10 million to Josh Hart.
Didi will be Josh Hart.
The same shit, hustle, run around, play good defense. Some days he'll make shots. Most days he probably won't. But if anything, it just shows you those guys. And it's the same shit I said about Steven Adams. Just a fucking dime a dozen. Look, and Didi's young. Maybe I actually think his shot looks like it has some potential to improve.
Didi will be fine. I'm just saying everyone gets
maybe he's something more down the road.
Overreaction.
Yeah, maybe he's something more down the road. But the best thing he's done in his 2 games is show us if any, I don't think anyone did, but to the extent that someone thought we should commit 8, 9, 7, 10, whatever the number would be, $1 million to Josh Hart. Hopefully what him and Najee have done have just fucking wiped that off anyone's mind.
Just give me Didi and Najee off the bench.
Same shit. Those guys, there's a dime a dozen. You can find them anywhere for $2 million.
If the Pelicans, you know how when people score and they have their little what is it, the thing they play for the little noise they make?
Music, yeah.
If they don't use the Dexter's Laboratory, the sister saying Didi when he scores, oh my God.
Too long.
I've never seen
No?
Dexter. Is it good?
You've never seen Dexter's Laboratory?
Like the Netflix?
Dexter. No, it's old. It's like a Nick.
No, Cartoon Network.
Cartoon Network. It's close.
He's on a.
What is the matter with y'all?
Remember when people got excited about Wes Owundu? I'm just you're right. People do everyone.
We're gonna get crushed for this. I already know.
I don't care. There's
gonna be a couple guys.
Cracks me up. Twitter really cracks me up because it's
Steve. Oh wait. Let me tell Steve this new tweet. Steve, there's this new guy on Twitter. It's one of those the bird rights little cult followers, and he's just positive about everything. And he tweeted out today that he'll never hate on a player that starts every game like Eric Bledsoe. And I'm just I'm like, he's not he doesn't want to be here. He's literally told us he's checked out, literally not listening in the huddle. And you're okay with this? He's making $18 million a year.
I just don't even understand the point.
He's one of our worst players.
He showed
Cool,
So
I'm
man.
telling the wrong people. I boo
Cool.
our players to their face. Like
It's $18 million and he sucks at basketball.
Yeah, I don't. It's a weird comment. I guess I didn't see that one. You didn't send it to me, but they it doesn't make any sense.
Loser.
It's like it would be like, I mean, so he showed up to
so
work.
we're not allowed to be critical of
Well,
anyone
No, you can't.
just because they keep playing.
You
All right,
can't
he
be
showed up
critical on Pelicans Twitter. You cannot be critical.
So he didn't get
You can't
hurt,
be critical.
which is good. He didn't get hurt, and he showed up. He like didn't miss the bus. He was there. All right. I mean, that's good. Good. And it's not even like it just is what it is. Like he just is an older guy that's like lost a couple of steps. He just isn't good anymore. Whatever. Who cares?
Whatever. Anyways,
No, I can't argue about Eric Bledsoe.
First off, I didn't even tell y'all this podcast is brought to you by Company Burger, located at 4600 Ferret Street. I might go get a Company Burger after this podcast. I am starving. Home of the Mushroom Swiss Burger. So make sure to go check them out. 4600 Ferret Street. Now let's jump into this segment. We're going to play Who is Staying, Who is Going. Who is staying, who's going? We're going to start with Ross. I'm going to throw it to Ross. I'm going to throw it to Steven. Throw it to Ross. I'm going to throw it to Steven. Okay. Ross, we're going up first. I'll do a softball for you. Eric Bledsoe, stays or goes.
How is that a softball?
Because if he doesn't go, I'm not going to a game next year.
It's not that big of a softball. Big contract.
Yeah. I don't.
You think he's here next year? If he's here next year, I can't. You think he's really here next year?
I think he starts out here next year.
Yeah.
Y'all are joking.
I don't know.
Stays or goes?
Shit. Stays.
Steven Adams, Steve.
The fuck out of here. No, he again, man. I'm not sure. That's another big contract. I mean, you're gonna have to find some team that's gonna look for a dump and to give him some picks. I mean,
Stays
that's
or
where
goes?
we'll have to use our second round picks to dump contracts this year.
Stays or goes?
All right, goes.
Okay. Ross, let's go with Billy Hernan Gomez.
Goes.
Okay.
Contract's up. I mean,
Cool. Steven, let's go with Lonzo Ball.
So I'm just gonna do that. What I personally kind of think is gonna happen. I think he's staying. I think this is just gonna be basically a move to kind of appease Zion in a way.
Really?
Keep his buddy here and pay the money and just show that you're committed to keep, working with Zion, keep people around him that he wants. So I think he stays.
Dangerous game. Okay.
I know it's a dangerous game, but I think that's what's going to happen. I think it's the game
Fair.
we've dug ourselves into this hole, and this is what's going to have to happen.
That's fair. Okay. Ross, Josh Hart.
gone.
Okay, Ross.
Gone.
Ross again. Ross again.
Lonzo's gone too, if you want to ask me that one.
Jackson Hayes. And the only way Jackson Hayes can leave is through a trade. Is
Yeah.
Jackson Hayes
Yeah.
gone?
I think stays.
Okay.
That's
Steve-
I was going to say, I mean, that's the scariest one for me. I think he's just such a big trade piece. And
Okay. Let me bring this one up to y'all. Nikhil Alexander Walker. Ross
it's a
first.
good trade piece too. I think he stays.
Steve stays.
Steve stays.
Ross.
I think no goes.
So you think Naw
What the
goes?
hell are we going to have left?
Hold up. So you think Naw goes in a trade? So if you're a GM, you're telling me you'd rather Naw over Hayes.
I'm not saying no, like fuck no. I'm not. Well, I don't know if it's a fuck no. I'm not saying that. I'm trying to like read the tea leaves a little bit. I don't think Lonzo comes back. I don't think we're gonna like. I don't think there's any way we commit the money.
So if Lonzo doesn't come back,
which is why I think Bledsoe probably does start the year on the roster, just because like you're gonna have to have guards. I also think Bledsoe's gonna be hard as fuck to move. I think, and there's no way to know, right? Like these are not easy moves to make. The Adams Bledsoe stuff is not easy to move. I think if I'm Griffin, my priority is to move Adams before Bledsoe. So with that in mind, I think it's probably easier to pair Adams and Naw in a first round pick or multiple picks to go do something. And I also think it's smarter from the team perspective. That's my entire reason.
Okay.
Right there. It might be shit, but
let me throw this out. Let me throw this out here to y'all. Do you think Naw Adams in a first rounder lands you Jaylen Brown?
No, God, no.
No.
Fucking,
What?
not even.
Oh,
Okay, how are you getting Jaylen Brown?
what is
Okay,
this?
so
Some
you're
weird
not-
trade
You're not
machine?
getting Jaylen Brown.
Okay, let's
That's
go
crazy.
with get Bradley Beal.
No.
So then who? Okay, so then Naw's not going to get you. So then why would you trade Naw if you're not going to get a third superstar?
Because if you want to get rid of, well, first off, if you
Well, I'm
want,
not gonna-
if
if I
you
wanna
want to
get
get
rid of
a,
Adams,
if you
I'm
want
not
to get rid, yeah, if you want to get rid of
Naw.
superstar, you're gonna have to give up something better than this guy. But
We don't have. Who else do we
it's
have?
about, but it's also about freeing up. Like, so is Jackson Hayes better than Steven Adams?
Yeah.
Okay, so Steven Adams is you're looking at making 17 and then 18 over the next 2 years, is not gonna, like, theoretically shouldn't play very much, like 12, 14, 15 minutes a game. Basically what Hernan Gomez did this year.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, like, we agree that getting him the fuck off of the cap sheet is important.
Yeah.
Like a huge priority, especially given that Bledsoe's, just partially guaranteed in that following year.
Okay.
So, like, you've got more wiggle room on that side than you do on the Adams side. I'm not sitting here saying that Adams and Naw on a first round pick is going to go get you some star. What I am saying is that you might be able to do that to create some flexibility and get like a fringe piece or somebody like that's somewhat interesting. I don't know. Maybe if you include 2 or 3 picks, maybe it is a star. Maybe it is a CJ McCollum or somebody. I don't know.
Okay. So, like, how do you think we would get someone like CJ McCollum then? Would Naw Adams in the first rounder land you CJ McCollum?
I'd have to go look at Portland, but my gut tells me no, no.
So then this team,
So this trade package is getting nobody. And
right?
also,
So like
and
we don't
also
really have good trade pieces then. Like y'all said,
No, the players, no. I
so
don't.
we don't
think
have
players do.
we don't have good trade pieces.
No, I think that's what I'm saying. You're going to have to
no,
give.
we do have good trade pieces, but we're not trying to get rid of them.
Hold up, we're all getting crazy now. Steven, go ahead.
Well, we do have good trade pieces, but we're not talking about getting rid of them. We're talking about packaging the shit deals right now and thinking, oh, it could miraculously get a CJ McCollum. Like, our trade pieces are like a Jackson Hayes, and like we're not just going to be able to just package together people we just don't want.
Right.
Like,
I mean, I
other
think
teams have to want to trade. They want that package, and also to double back on the Lonzo thing, we keep talking about going around in a shit circle. By getting rid of him, how are we getting better by letting him walk?
I can
regressing.
I can answer that question really quickly. How are we better? I'm going to answer it with just a simple question. How do we get better by keeping him and paying him significantly more? Like, how does that make the roster better?
We've seen he's progressing. He's progressing every year.
How? What did he do to progress this year? He shot like 0.02. He shot a decimal dust better from 3.
Well,
decimal dust better from the field. And he shot 1 free throw per game.
Better?
It's better. It is better.
I'm saying, like, how does like everyone we can do, like, I will have this
shot a lot more this year also.
All right. Listen, hold up. Both of y'all stop. Okay.
I mean, the percentage does matter, but also the numbers also matter also.
Right. All right. Lonzo Ball is not a $22 to $25 million guy. He might even be a $20 million guy.
He's not.
Okay. He's not. Okay. Well, that's your opinion. That's fine. In my opinion, I wouldn't pay him more than 20. That's it. Jesus Christ. But Ross, who are you replacing him with? Y'all keep saying like, well, we got to do this. Who are we getting?
There's no answers.
Guys. By every advancement, he is a league average player. Shoots 40% from the field, 38% from 3. I don't understand what are we talking about here? What basis?
What did Markelle Fultz get?
What do we have? What basis do we have based on his performance to say that he is worth? Fuck all the other shit. Based on what he's done in these 2 years, how on earth can you convince me that he's worth $20 million? Jesus Christ. Seriously, I'm not trying to I like he seems to kind of play hard and stuff, but there's no basis for it. Like, he's just a standstill 3-point shooter that kind of can play a little defense, but also gets shredded for 40 anytime we play somebody good.
Not to mention he's also our second best 3-point shooter. So there's that as well.
Right. You can go get a similar-ish player to
who then?
Reggie, there's a million guys. What do you mean who? I'm not going to go through the list of free agents that shoot 38% from 3, but there's fucking 30 of them, half of which are going to get paid $4 million next year. I don't understand. What do you mean?
Lonzo does other things just to shoot threes.
Every time we do this. No, what? Tell me what?
He's a good passer. He's a good passer. He's a good defender.
He's okay. He's
a good defender. If Chris Paul had Steven Adams, he'd be a bad defender too when he was in his prime. Okay, he just doesn't.
Chris Paul had Steven Adams last year.
He did that with them. Yeah, they made the playoffs.
He's God. Go to a different part of this conversation.
This is actually a good point. All right, he also had Schroeder and
$20 million. Do you understand what that does?
Ross, I just don't understand where else the fuck do you want to spend this money?
I will give you.
I just don't know where you want to.
Fine. Here's the question. Here's the question. Does Lonzo, Zion, and Ingram win a title in the next 4 years?
No.
Because that's what you have. Understand that. Do you even make the playoffs?
Do we have Eric Bledsoe and Steven Adams?
Do you even make the
roster?
playoffs?
Do we have
what else is around him, man?
Adams and fucking Eric Bledsoe?
Just give you guys I'll give you guys.
Can we get some players?
Here's basic math. $30 million to Ingram.
Yeah.
20 whatever the hell Zion's going to cost in 2 years. Figure out that number. It's going to be a fucking Brinks truck. Plus 20 more million to Lonzo for 4 years.
Okay. No, 3 years.
That's it. Like that's you're working on the periphery after that.
Hey, Ross, who do you want?
Anyone. It's the opportunity cost. It's the same thing people say about the Eric Bledsoe, Drew Holiday thing. Well, what deal would we have gotten? I don't fucking care. Anything else. Is that what you want? Seriously. You can't put that back on the like I'm not the GM. I'm not the GM. What I'm saying is I'm looking at it and saying there's an opportunity cost to doing these things. You spend the money on Lonzo, or maybe you spend it on something else next year. You don't have to spend it this offseason. You can sign 1 year deals, bring veterans, do whatever. There's an opportunity cost you pass up to doing this.
Do you think Lonzo Ball will get more than $20 million this offseason?
I can't fathom who would give it to him.
Really? Steven, do you think it's more than 20 million this year?
It's a crazy league. I believe somebody. There's always a team. There's always a team.
Yeah, there's always a team. That's what I'm saying. What scares me is just by tying ourselves into that, you hamstring yourself over that. And look, I understand what people are going to say. They're going to say, well, you can always get out of those deals. No, you fucking can't always get out of those deals. No, you fucking can't.
Like the Steven Adams deal. Like, could you imagine if we just
Eric Gordon, there's a whole bunch of deals that people would love to. There's a whole lot of restricted free agency deals that people wish they could get out of that they never can.
Could you
imagine?
Could you imagine
Tyler
Ashik and Ajinka and Solomon Hill? Could you imagine? We haven't had good free agent signing in years. Could you imagine if we didn't extend Steven Adams? Like, just imagine if we just took him as a trade piece, let him play out this year. See Jackson Hayes.
Totally different spot right now.
Totally different.
Really,
and people are defending David Fisher. People are defending.
You'd be going into this offseason with like almost max. You realize that?
Tom Harkin.
You damn near be going into this offseason with like almost max cap space.
I know.
Like
we have Steven Adams for 2 years. I just I don't understand how people defend it. Well, he's a good player, fine, but he didn't need $34 million. We didn't need to do that.
Anyhow.
Okay. That was a good rant, Ross. You got after it there. I like it. All right. So go to Steven, go to Ross, and then we're getting to fan questions. How aggressive then, off of that little rant, Steven, how aggressive does Griffin have to be this year? Is this a do or die situation for him? It's year 3 now. You got to see some progression. Steven, does he have to make some moves to get to the playoffs next year?
From a fan's perspective, yes. I would really like to see him make some type of splash, but the way that this front office has dealt with GMs in the past, no. I think he's going to be okay. He's going to have some freedom to make some more moves and try to build something around these guys. So I don't see David Griffin going anywhere within the next at least maybe a year and a half if he doesn't put something together. Well, 2 years. They don't
then you're going to be okay with not really being.
No, I'm not going to be okay with it, but I think that's what's going to happen.
Okay, I'll let Ross go, and then I'm going to tell you why I think that's a disastrous plan. But I'm not saying it's a stupid plan. I'm going with you. I see them doing that.
Yes.
Ross, go ahead.
I'm sorry. What was the question?
Does David Griffin have to be super aggressive this offseason?
Are veteran guys not paying attention in the huddle?
I know, right? Year 3, he hasn't seen any progression from this. First off, does he have to be aggressive this offseason, and will that seat get warmer if he doesn't?
I think he has to be aggressive this offseason, but I don't necessarily think it matters on his seat warmth. I think if we come out next year and miss the playoffs, the seat gets warm, but he just bought, and this has been my frustration the whole time. He bought himself so much time, guys, with these moves. We traded for a bunch of picks that I don't even think we get the first one. Do we get a Laker pick this year or do we have a swap?
It's a swap.
Yeah, right. Like we don't even get the first pick of all of this shit that we did until next year. Like he just bought himself so much time.
He's
and
a genius.
It's a genius, an absolute genius, job security move. And we've been saying this for months. Yeah. I think he bought himself years, and we could suck. He could literally bought himself years because you can always point to, well, we have this coming. We did all these moves 2 years ago. We got rid of Anthony. We got rid of all-stars to do this. And so he's got that backdrop. It's going to be really tough, but I think he has to be aggressive this offseason in terms of clearing up space for the all-star break.
Explain.
Because this is why I'm just so nervous about giving Lonzo all that money, is because I think to the extent that you have space that you can leverage, and I have no clue whether we can get these guys, right? Like I know
no one has a clue. That's the worst part. Everyone on Twitter thinks they do.
Every offseason during the year there are guys. Zach LaVine, if he doesn't get extended, is in the last year of his deal next year. Let's go. If the Bulls aren't playing well and we're playing decent, that's an opportunity. Okay. Bradley Beal, last year of his deal, he's got a player option the year after, but I'm sure he's going to decline it. That there's going to be, and I don't know all of them, but there are guys like that you would like to be able to pull the string on at the beginning of the year, right before the All-Star break. Those are guys that maybe you take a chance on, and who knows? They come in here and they Drew Holiday you. They love it. Like they love it. You're winning. They sign a long-term extension. We don't know, but I'm so afraid of losing the opportunity to even make those type of deals by cap constraining ourselves this summer to an average roster. That's your biggest fear. So my whole thing, I say all that shit to say, I think he has to be very aggressive in terms of creating space so that we can cash in on larger opportunities.
That's fair. And that's why you don't want to commit 20 plus to Lonzo, which makes sense. And to your point, I'd see the patience, and I want to go to Steven's point. I think that in today's game, player movement is everything. You're never so much really power. You're never really going to see the Dirk Nowitzkis, the Kobe Bryants that stay with the team for 20 plus years, whatever it may be. Zion's going to sign his, obviously has his first contract now. He'll sign his second contract. You're looking at it right now. You have Zion for 6 more years. And that's probably it. Yeah. Like guys want to go play and that's what I'm saying. So everyone with the whole patience.
You don't think he gets halfway into that? If think just hypothetical this, he gets halfway in. Imagine year 5, right? Where he signed his max extension, done all that. You don't think if we've made the playoff shit, you don't think he's going to say, "Get me the fuck."
Happened to Chris Paul. That's what this is.
It's a real opportunity. I'm not saying I'm not one of these guys like he's going to New York right away. Like I don't see any of that. Like I think if we're good, he's going to stay here for his full time, and then after restricted free agency, whatever, they're on their own, man. Like if you give him 8-9 years of your life of your fucking prime, I don't care what you do after that. But if we stink for these first 5 or 6 years, you don't think there's going to be some noise?
That's what I was telling you.
It's a dangerous game to play.
You got to be able in today's game capitalize on star players, especially in this league. I'm a diehard Red Sox fan. They just lost Mookie Betts, right? Like you just saw the Patriots lose Tom Brady. Like eventually, I know he's there for 20 years. I know he's there for 20 years. I'm just saying eventually though, superstars leave. They're just going to leave. So to think that Zion Williamson's going to be here for 15 years is you're out of your mind. And look at LeBron James.
And the crazy thing is it can happen so fast.
Yes, it can just happen just like that. You miss a couple years.
Just like a James Harden this year. Dude rolled in and was like, hey, fuck y'all, basically. I'm not playing here. I'll be here, but I'm going to be fat and I'm just not going to play. And let's get me.
Kyrie Irving's done it twice in his career.
If you don't think it can happen, you're being naive. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not one of these people, but I'm very aware of the players have a shitload of power.
Yeah, and that's
a shitload.
And Steve, I'm gonna pitch it to you in a second, but that's why I don't get with the people that were well, relax, we're building. No, you got to start winning sooner or later. Nobody likes losing. If you do like losing, you're called a fucking loser. Stop losing. I hate that this franchise just always lose. And we have people well, it's okay next year. It's no, next year what? We're gonna be the 8th seed. Steven, go ahead. Sorry.
What? I have no idea where you were going with this rant.
Just don't. I just hate all the patience and everyone's okay with losing. The window's closing on Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram. Like that's it.
I
don't-
mean, I
I don't know. I don't
guess. I
agree
mean,
with
it not really
Not closed.
closing yet.
Is it opening?
It's
Open.
cracked.
Open.
It's
The
cracked.
window is open. Like
So
that-
it's eventually
got some airflow.
so that is my bigger
think-
issue is the whole like is not so much that the window is closing. It's that there are a lot of people who don't even think the window is open yet. There's a lot of people that you just go look around. Go look at writers. Go look at some of the local people covering the team.
What more
They
could
will
you
look you
need?
in your face and tell you these guys aren't even close to their peak yet. There are guys that will seriously tell you that straight face.
And what's your response every time?
How much fucking better do you think he's going to get? If Zion Williamson gets any better, he's going to be the greatest player of all time. What's he going to average?
Got a
40
point.
points a game?
Well, everyone thinks Brandon Ingram's gonna get to the Kevin Durant stage of like offense.
Exactly.
He's not gonna get much better either
Right. Like
offensively.
Brandon Ingram's almost there.
Like he's averaged 26. He's shooting 40% from deep and 50% from the
Like,
field,
he's a
80% from
stud
the
there.
line.
He's a superstar offensive player. Like that's what I'm saying. Like how much
Elite.
better? If you don't think they're even close to their peak, then holy shit, we better win about 5 titles because their peak is going to be what Kobe and Shaq. That's basically what you're subscribing to if you tell me that they're not even close to their peak.
6'6" Zion's going to put up Wilt numbers here. In
And
a
this
couple
is
years.
why I keep saying we need to start winning basketball games because one, these guys aren't going to get much better, and two, they're going to leave sooner or later. Let's get to fan questions, our favorite part of the show. Thanks for everybody that's followed. We've gained so many people, so many great reviews. We've had a couple bad reviews, so fuck you to those guys.
Eat
But,
shit.
yeah, let's go to Kenneth James at Kenny G3430 _ on Twitter.
Love the name.
Love the name. I want to know who are some realist options in free agency for this team, in your opinion, Ross. Let's throw it to you here. What do you see? I know it's a tough question.
Yeah.
Gotta go shooters, right? Gotta go some 3-and-D guys. I'm guessing.
Yeah, that is a really hard one. I'd be looking at, I don't know, kind of bargain basement type guys. I like Josh Richardson a lot
Okay.
as a guy that can come in, do a little bit on the wing. His shooting has dropped off the last few years, but if he can tick just a hair back up, he's an interesting player to me. There was another guy similar. I mean, you're never going to get a guy like Serge Ibaka, but any big that can sort of help out there. In terms of shooting and defense, I think is interesting. But like I said, for me, I would be looking at wings that can shoot a little bit, the Reggie Bullocks of the world.
Like Reggie Bullock.
Josh Richardson's of the world. It's not like a superstar offseason. There's not a ton of guys I find in that sort of middle range that might be cheap and might be able to come in and help. This is the problem you face when you come into the offseason. Like if you don't have max money and there's not a ton of guys, like you're sort of fighting everybody else for the same type of player. But I don't know. Yeah. The Bryn Forbes, basically anyone, unless you're getting a meaningful player, just give me somebody that can shoot. Just worst case, you got to be able to stand.
Shooters.
Worst case, you got to be able to stand out there and shoot. So yeah, the Bryn Forbes, whatever the guy, Bullock, those type of guys, we should probably have an eye on.
Okay. Thanks for that question from Briggs H5 on Instagram. Steven, we already kind of went over this, but do you think Stan Van Gundy is who the team needs going forward?
No, absolutely not. Is he going to be here for the next 2 years? Yeah, most likely. I mean, I don't know. I keep thinking, I keep wanting to give him, the benefit of having this off season, but like I was saying earlier, I think there should have been some type of progression and something with his decision making that changed throughout the season and didn't seem that way. So
chuckle every time we talk about what Stan Van Gundy might do this offseason. I find myself chuckling.
I just don't know. I don't know.
No, this is like I like he just strikes me as a guy that's like hanging out in his underwear in his back porch or something.
Someone on Instagram just called him Stan Van Gumby. I just thought that was kind of funny.
That is funny.
And they call him Krusty Krab. The Lonzo stands call him Krusty Krab. I don't know why about that, but you know what? I am going to miss the Lonzo stands if Lonzo Ball leaves. A lot of the beat writers don't really like them. I kind of do. They're just kind of crazy, like they just shoot from the hip kind of thing. Like they think Lonzo's gonna be this like 10-time All-Star. He's good. I think he's
not a sign.
I think Lonzo's gonna be a good player, but whatever. We've already talked about that. And yeah, so
Why do I feel like we're gonna like go out and get like a guy like Doug McDermott, and people are gonna lose their goddamn minds and think that he's gonna win a three-point shooting
absolutely
contest?
lose their mind if we got Doug McDermott. Like people would seriously lose their mind.
like Jimmy,
And then just come in and then just do.
Like I'd be happy about it, but I wouldn't lose my mind just because whatever.
Oh, I think our fans would. They would just bet that would be it. He's the missing piece. Yes, that's
Oh,
our guy.
100%.
We just signed up. Get the ring finger sized up. Let's go.
is all right. I got a question for y'all. We'll get Ross first and Steven second. Actually, I'm gonna go first, and then we'll go to you. Do you think Nickeil Alexander-Walker's are starting to guard next year? And my answer is yes.
I think for lack of having another one, yes. Maybe. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I think if he's here, yeah.
So that leads to my question. We're going to need a point guard. We have a point guard right now. I understand you don't want to commit all that money to him. But at the same time, if we don't have Lonzo Ball, your only point guard, true point guard on the roster is Kyra Lewis. And he ain't ready. You can already see that. And then what do you can pencil in again? Eric Bledsoe as your starting point guard for next year? Like,
how's Lowry doing? We can get him for cheap next year.
There's a bunch of those guys. Goran Dragic is a guy I would love.
I mean, he's like
I would
38.
yeah.
He's like a skeleton out there. I understand. Like he's not
so much better.
He'll be lucky. He'll be lucky if he's playing by game 50 next year. I mean,
I don't disagree. I don't disagree, but you're going to be, if you don't have Lonzo and you don't make some kind of big deal, like you're looking at most likely a veteran point guard next year. Mike Conley. I mean,
okay, that's fine.
Like, but I'm just telling you that. I mean, that's like it just is what it is. If the only thing that's going to get you excited is giving like $20 million to Lonzo, then you might I would prepare myself to be a little disappointed because I just don't see it.
Listen, I don't think this team's going to sign Lonzo, and it's fine. I know I've made peace with it. It's fine. He does have a lot to work on in his game, especially the driving aspect. But at the same time, I think throughout this entire roundtable that we've talked about, our roster isn't good, and I wouldn't expect it to get much better next year.
I agree.
Is that fair to say?
Well, I won't say that I expect it. Not that I expect it. I'll just say it's going to be fucking hard. I don't think Griffin has done a great job, and I think he's got his work cut out for him. Like, I mean, I've asked you before, but he's got a hard. You talk about a hard sell. Getting rid of Steven Adams and Eric Bledsoe next year is a hard sell.
A lot of people would disagree with you.
A hard sell. Unless you're going to unload that cupboard that everybody that what do they call it? The what do they call all those picks? Not the war chest.
Shit.
The treasure trove. There's another word for it that a lot of people use.
Cornucopia picks.
Whatever. Unless he wants to dip into there and really unload. He's got his work cut out for him this offseason to improve the roster. He really does.
Maybe that's why he loaded up on all those second round picks, just kind of like his backup, so he can unload these contracts and just dump picks with them.
We have so many picks.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know.
Can I
man.
ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is for you, not for Offner.
Thanks, man.
Next year, Lonzo for $20 million or Elfrid Payton for $5 million. 1 year deal. Do you think I don't care. No, I don't care.
Elfrid Payton.
Yeah. Do you think the team is any better or worse? Like more than two two games better or worse with either of those guys?
I think we're the same. We're the same.
Exactly.
But like, can I ask you this question?
Yeah.
Can we get serviceable NBA players next to Lonzo, Brandon, and Zion? Like, I'm talking all you need
we
have some really bad. Steven Adams and Eric Bledsoe are really bad. Like they are. I don't think they're really bad. I don't think they're good.
I think they are. Really good. I think they are bad compared to their contract. I think if they were both making $5 million a year coming off the bench,
do you think they're NBA starters on any team? I'm sorry.
No. The answer is
so they're not NBA starting even on a playoff team.
Oh God, no.
Exactly.
No.
Can we get? I just need to get some. Like, I think Nickeil Alexander-Walker next to Lonzo Ball would be very. I think it'd be him, at the 1 and 2, and then I think Zion and Ingram, and then if you want to have Adams, that's fine with Hayes. I don't think it's terrible. I really don't. I think if you build a bench and not just have Josh Hart, like I'm gonna call a spade here. This might upset a lot of people. Josh Hart isn't a 6th man. He's probably like 8th or 9th.
Yeah.
Like
And you know what? We've talked about this. I understand why people like him. I really do.
I like him. I like Josh Hart.
Him.
I don't mind. I really don't have a problem with Josh Hart.
You've got to read.
I think we got to.
You got to read between the lines with Josh Hart. You got to read between the lines. It's easy to like what you see because he is out there hustling.
Yeah.
But like overall, he's just not that. Like he just is a very average NBA player.
Yeah, he's a very average NBA player.
It's okay to like average NBA players.
And you want
to
talk
like
about
role players. Everyone loves role players.
And everyone needs it. Listen, I'm not dogging Josh Hart. Everybody needs a Josh Hart on the team. Right. I love his energy. It's in fact, I think he hustles. I think he knocks down some shots. Like he rebounds really well for a guard. He's just very average. It's very easy to fall in love with somebody like that. He's a very replaceable basketball player.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody needs him, but he's replaceable.
No, like
but you just don't pay him. It's not that like everyone needs him. But you don't overpay.
Guy.
Yeah, you don't overpay for that.
Steve, I'll go pay you a couple mil to just go give some high fives and start throwing the towel around and lay on the ground for a couple of possessions.
We're playing the Lakers right now, and it's no different than Caruso.
Yeah,
like you think the Lakers are going to pony up big money to keep Caruso this year? No, I bet Laker people love him? Probably.
Yes.
No, they're hustling his fucking ass off.
Definitely love him.
He hits open threes for the most part. Seems to be like a mostly nice guy. He plays like it. People love a good role. Like you need a good role player. You don't overpay for it,
right?
But you need it,
right? Like, I think everyone like fell in love with Josh Hart because he got trades. Like, where are the best food spots? Where can I go to the French Quarter? Where's Bourbon? It's just like, yeah, he's a great guy. Like that's cool and all. And like, it's just like, all right, like I'm not paying you $12 million though. You want to talk about cap strap? You're paying your 6th man $12 million.
Average 6 man too.
He's not a 6 man.
No.
No. Of the year should get that.
I know. So, damn, that's it. Like year 2 is done. I can't believe we've been doing it. We've been doing this for 2 years. Y'all know, like we were doing this at the Palms Pod Center, in the mildew room,
Skyping it
with George Landrum. Shout out George. Yeah. Wow. This has been fun, guys. So, I guess thanks for everybody that's tuned in.
2 more years, huh?
We're not done. We'll do a little bit of a break. We'll do something. Yeah. Well, while we're all here, why do we? So
do we have to?
The NBA playoffs are pretty much set.
All right.
Offner, give me your. I won't even make you do that. Finals prediction. Just give me who do you think is in the finals? I'll give. Do you want me to give you the first round matchups?
Yeah, give me let's go. Why don't we do that? Our picks for the first round.
For the first round, all right. You're gonna have Utah against. I don't think the game's over. Utah against probably.
We're going to speed this up here a little. I mean, give me a finals prediction. Yeah. Just give me the finals prediction.
Oh my God! Hold on. Let me look at this.
I'll say this: why he thinks about it. How good is that Clippers Mavericks series going to be potentially?
That's good.
I'm like looking forward to that one. Same with Denver and Portland. Those are like I'm really of everything that's going to happen. I think the East is like possibly going to be just 4. Well, I don't know. New York and Atlanta might be okay. Other than that,
this is it for me. I got Brooklyn, and I got if they're healthy, if they are fully healthy, I got the LA Lakers. Yep. I think Brooklyn Lakers. I think Brooklyn wins 4-2. I don't see anybody. You can't tell me that anybody is going to stop that offense 4 different times.
Man, they've got their work cut out for them.
Yeah.
Who? The Nets?
Brooklyn.
Doesn't matter. They have 3. Yeah. They have 3 MVPs on the roster. If with Blake Griffin as the 5, and he's playing pretty good.
Yeah.
Steven, what's your finals prediction?
West is a
Casey
crapshoot.
Oh shit! Look at that.
Hey.
Big Row. What up, baby? Shout out Natalie Rowbottom.
Nice.
Fernandez Rowbottom. Casey Rowbottom. Whole Rowbottom family. Shout out. Just saw you on Bally Sports during the Pels game. Then they cut David Griffin's mug.
Steve,
are you kidding me? You need to tell me every team that's in the West.
Could you just give me a finals?
You cut me off.
Go ahead.
Brooklyn Nuggets. There you go. I said it.
A bad.
I just gave you one.
Sounds like a shitty hole in the wall bar in Brooklyn where you're like, fuck, I'm so drunk. Can I get the Brooklyn Nuggets? Side of ranch. Some curly fries or something. Can I get the Brooklyn Nuggets?
Would you rather curly fries or tater tots?
I think there's no way Milwaukee doesn't get to the final.
Wow. I'll take that bet with you right now. I think Milwaukee gets bounced. I think Milwaukee gets bounced.
First off, I think they sweep Miami.
I don't think they sweep Miami.
Cool.
I
Talking
guarantee.
about the finals, aren't we?
I don't think we are. I don't think they don't win the Eastern Conference.
I think this is the year.
I don't think it's the year.
That's fair. That's fair. I still like the Clippers.
Okay, Clippers.
I got Clippers and Bucks.
I like it.
And a pack of Brooklyn Nuggets for the road.
We're a little tipsy off this river base, so I'll give you that much. Once again, thanks for tuning in. Follow us on Instagram or Twitter at
Brooklyn Nuggets. I'm gonna laugh.
Should we print the shirts? Brooklyn Nuggets.
We should.
Once again, thanks for tuning in. Leave us a rate and review, even if you hate us. There's a couple of people that do hate us, so shout out. If you do hate us, come on the show. We're actually pretty nice.
I hate me.
And we're on Apple, Spotify, Google Music, all that
You know
stuff.
what we
Shout
need
out.
before you end it?
What?
We need to get, how Tony Reali at the end of that like show they used to do on ESPN. They might still do it. Around the Horn.
They still do.
Used to come and do all the fuck ups.
Yeah.
We need that.
we
need
got
that character.
like
Oh,
nine.
they do.
Yeah,
They
we
do.
need-
Pardon my
I
take.
think we need for Steven Offer. Yeah.
The arrows for me.
So,
Yeah.
shout out.
Down. We'll be back for the draft.
We'll be back for
We'll
the
start
draft,
getting
of
some
course.
drafts.
And we're gonna hop on here.
Oh,
and
yeah.
there. We might hop on, bring on some guests for sure.
Talk some
And then
shit.
also big news: we might possibly, if they allow it, go to Summer League this year if they have it.
Oh yeah.
But we are starting that tradition, Steven. We're gonna start doing Summer League every summer. Propels on the road. Propels on the road. You're driving.
I have to go to work, man.
No, you don't. You're off that week. You're gonna be
Okay.
fine. So, once again, thanks for following us so much. All of our followers on Twitter, Instagram, that listen to the podcast and subscribe to the podcast. We really, really appreciate y'all. We're still haven't been listened in 3 states. I want to get that off the damn map.
Really?
New Mexico, Vermont, and Montana. Can't get them. Do you know anybody? Share the episode with them.
Mine got good cheeses.
Do they?
I have no idea.
All right, Stevie, get us out of here.
Kisses.
Oh, good show.
God.